The Chrono lab, usually a sanctuary of science, felt heavy today. The air was charged with a tension that seemed to seep into every corner, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. This was no ordinary day. Today, the boundaries of time itself would be tested. 4 tense faces reflected in polished chrome, all focused on the Lightfall device, a massive ring pulsing with violet light. The device dominated the room, its glow casting strange shadows that danced across anxious eyes. This upgrade was their chance to peer 1 minute into the future, a fantasy made real. The promise of glimpsing what lay ahead was intoxicating, but it came with a weighty sense of responsibility. Every wire, every circuit, every calculation had led to this moment. Dr. Aris Thorne, project lead, masked his anxiety with logic. He double-checked every protocol, his mind racing through contingency plans, determined to keep his team safe even as he pushed the limits of possibility. Dr. Lena Petrova, quantum physicist, made final adjustments, sensing the machine's untamed energy. She felt the hum of the device in her bones, a reminder that the laws of physics were about to be bent, perhaps even broken. Ben Carter, the engineer, trusted hardware over theory, his skepticism grounding the team. He ran his hands over the cold metal, listening for the subtle vibrations that told him everything was in place, or warned him if it wasn't. Dr. Kenji Tanaka, data analyst and ethicist, watched the numbers and the boundaries. He monitored not just the data, but the ethical lines they were about to cross, knowing that some discoveries come at a price. Together, they were brilliant, but each carried private fears. The weight of their ambitions pressed down on them, unspoken but ever present, as they prepared to step into the unknown. Aris wanted to change the world. Lena sought understanding. Ben wanted safety. Each motivation pulled them forward, even as doubt tugged at their resolve. Kenji feared the cost of curiosity. He wondered if the answers they sought would be worth the risks they were about to take. The Lightfall device's hum deepened, vibrating through the floor. It was ready. The energy in the room was almost tangible, a living thing that seemed to pulse with anticipation. As they stood on the edge of discovery, one question lingered. Were they ready for what they'd see? The unknown beckoned, both thrilling and terrifying, as the final seconds ticked away. The future was about to open its window. For the first time, humanity would look beyond the present, and nothing would ever be the same. The air was thick with anticipation and dread. The countdown began. In that moment, every hope, every fear, every dream converged as the crucible of tomorrow awaited its first glimpse of what was to come. Power sequence initiated. Aris's voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed his nerves. Lena confirmed the quantum fields were stable, but the resonance was off, nothing like the simulations. The Lightfall's violet glow intensified, casting unnatural shadows. Ben eyed the readings, uneasy about the vibrations. Aris pressed on, too close to stop now. Suddenly, the lab lights flickered violently. A shimmering distortion appeared in the ring's center, like heat haze, but cold. Kenji stepped back, unsettled by a primal sense of wrongness. The universe itself seemed to protest. Ben demanded answers, but Aris whispered, "That's it, the window is opening." The light steadied, but the cold remained. The hum deepened, vibrating inside their skulls. They stared at the impossible, and the impossible stared back. The future was here. "Set displacement for 60 seconds, Aris ordered, ignoring every warning sign. Kenji hesitated, but Aris insisted. The command was entered. The haze sharpened into a clear image, their own lab, 1 minute ahead. But chaos reigned, alarms blared, red lights flashed, a panel was shattered. In the vision, Ben lay motionless in a pool of blood, a wrench nearby. Lena gasped. This was no triumph, it was a nightmare. Ben stared at the vision, recognizing his own wrench. Kenji recoiled in horror. Aris's ambition turned to dread. The future was barreling toward them. They had less than 60 seconds to change it, or become it. The silence was suffocating. The vision was a perfect tableau of disaster. The clock was ticking. Each second felt like a sentence. Could they escape what they'd seen? Or were they already trapped? The minute began. Panic shattered the lab's calm. In an instant, the sterile order of their world was replaced by chaos. Alarms blared, red lights strobed, and the air crackled with fear. The team, once united by purpose, now moved in frantic, disjointed bursts, each person's actions driven by a different terror. "Shut it down!" Lena screamed, lunging for the emergency cutoff. Her voice was raw, desperate, echoing off the metal walls as if the lab itself was pleading for mercy. Aris stopped her, grabbing her arm. "We can fix this. We know what's coming." His words trembled with conviction, but his eyes betrayed uncertainty. He clung to the hope that knowledge could still save them. Ben backed away, eyes wide. "One of you does this to me." His voice was barely more than a whisper, but it cut through the noise, a chilling accusation that hung in the air. Paranoia spread. Anyone could be the killer. Suspicion flickered in every glance, every hurried movement. The bonds of trust that had held them together began to unravel, thread by thread. Kenji tried to calm them. "No one's hurting anyone. Ben, stay away from the console and the wrench." But trust was gone. His words fell flat, powerless against the rising tide of fear and doubt. They were four strangers in a locked room with fate closing in. The walls felt closer, the air heavier, as if the future itself was pressing down on them. The clock was merciless. 30 seconds left. Each tick was a thunderclap, a reminder that time was running out and their choices were narrowing. Lena pleaded, "This is wrong. We were never meant to see this." Her words trembled with regret, as if she could undo the moment by sheer force of will. Aris fixated on the shattered panel in the vision. "That's the trigger. Ben, don't go near it." His warning was urgent, but the future felt like a trap already sprung. Ben felt like a pawn, every move leading to doom. He could sense invisible hands guiding him, pushing him toward disaster no matter how he tried to resist. The harder they tried to change the future, the more it seemed to tighten around them. Every attempt to break free only reinforced the vision's grip, as if fate was mocking their efforts. The minute was slipping away. Every action felt preordained. The sense of inevitability was suffocating, as if they were actors in a play they could not rewrite. The vision's grip was unbreakable. Desperation mounted. Each second brought them closer to the moment they all feared, and no one knew how to stop it. The future was rushing in. It was a tidal wave, unstoppable, threatening to sweep them all away. Would they break the cycle or fulfill it? In the weight of a single minute, everything hung in the balance. Accusations flew. "This is your fault, Aris!" Lena shouted. Aris fired back, blaming Lena's confidence in the quantum fields. Ben pointed at Kenji. "Maybe you wanted to make an example of us." Kenji denied it, but suspicion poisoned the air. Years of trust dissolved in seconds. The vision had turned them against each other. Kenji tried to restore order. "Ben, stay put. The rest of us move to the exit. No one touches anything." But logic was powerless here. The future felt magnetic, pulling them toward disaster. Aris obsessed over the panel and the wrench. "Where's your wrench, Ben?" Ben stared at it as if it were cursed. The object felt destined for tragedy. The seconds ticked down. The team was fractured. The vision's shadow loomed. Fate's grip tightened. The wrench waited. The end approached. 10 seconds. The tension was suffocating. Ben hyperventilated, seeing threats in every face. Lena sobbed, trapped in a script she never wanted. Aris shouted, "Power levels are spiking. It's an overload." He typed frantically, but his panic only made things worse. The Lightfall's hum became a piercing whine. Lights flickered violently. Lena cried, "Aris, stop! You're making it worse!" Kenji dashed for the circuit breaker, tripped over a cable, and crashed into Ben's tool cart. Tools scattered. The heavy wrench flew through the air. Time slowed as the wrench spun toward the diagnostic panel. The cycle was completing itself. The vision was becoming reality. Fate's final act began. The wrench smashed into the panel, just as in the vision. Blue sparks erupted, equipment short-circuited with a bang. Ben was thrown backward, landing with a sickening thud. He lay still, blood pooling beneath his head. The wrench rested inches from his hand. Alarms blared, red lights pulsed. The scene from the portal, now real. Lena sobbed, unable to process the horror. Kenji, pale and shaken, whispered, I tripped." He had set the fatal event in motion, trying to prevent it. Aris stared at the tableau. Body, wrench, shattered panel. It was a perfect recreation of the future they'd seen. His belief in control was shattered. He hadn't outwitted fate. He'd fulfilled it. The alarms wailed on. The cost of knowledge was clear. The minute was over. Aris slammed the emergency cutoff. The alarms died, leaving a crushing silence. Lena's ragged breathing and the hum of cooling machinery filled the void. Kenji knelt, head in hands, drowning in guilt. "It was me. I killed him. I tripped. The wrench." Lena checked Ben for a pulse, but hope was gone. Aris couldn't look at Ben. He stared at the now dull Lightfall device. It was just a machine again, but it had shown them the truth. The future wasn't a blank page, it was already written. Their choices were ink in a story already drawn. They were puppets who'd glimpsed their own strings. "We have to call it in," Lena said. Aris didn't respond. He watched the portal fade, the image of Ben's body dissolving. He had wanted to see the future, and paid the price. The silence was a tomb. They were the living dead inside it. The cost of knowledge was unbearable. As the portal faded, a new image appeared. This time, Ben's body was gone. The lab, once filled with chaos and echoes of the past, now stood eerily still. Shadows flickered across the walls, as if the room itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. The lab was as it was now, but Lena raised a security override keycard in the vision. The gesture was deliberate, almost ritualistic, as if she had done it before, or would do it again. Aris's blood ran cold. The keycard was for a master reset, erasing the last hour, rebooting the device. It was the ultimate failsafe, a button that could undo everything, but at a cost no one fully understood. Why would Lena do it? In the vision, her face was cold, determined. There was no hesitation in her eyes, only a steely resolve that sent a chill through Aris's spine. The image vanished. The portal snapped shut. The sudden darkness felt absolute, as if the world itself had been reset. Aris looked at Lena, who unconsciously touched her keycard. The gesture was subtle, but it spoke volumes. Was she aware of what she was about to do, or was it instinct? Their eyes met. He saw the same determination from the vision. In that instant, a silent understanding passed between them, heavy with the weight of unspoken choices. A new thought formed. Was this another loop? Had they been here before, trapped in a cycle of hope and regret, always searching for the right outcome, another chance to change fate, or just another repetition, doomed to fail? The possibility lingered, both a promise and a threat. Perhaps the future could be solved, but only by paying the price again and again. Each reset was a sacrifice, a gamble with time itself. The question was no longer if they could change the future. It was whether they could endure the cost of trying, and how much of themselves they would lose along the way. It was, how many times would they have to relive this minute to finally succeed? The lab was silent. Every tick of the clock echoed with uncertainty, each second a reminder of the stakes. For Aris, the clock had just started ticking again. The loop was beginning, and somewhere deep down, he wondered if this time they would finally break free, or if the cycle would claim them once more.